Hey, wonderfuls. Welcome back to another episode of Helpers High by me, Tiffany. So, today we're going to jump right into it. So, I know we've talked about vulnerability, we've talked about success, we've talked about knowing our worth, we've talked about our value, we've talked about a lot of different things, right? And I want you to know that the common core of everything that I've talked about so far tells us our own accountabilities, what we're doing to actually promote, cause, or sustain some behaviors that we possibly don't even want, and what we can add more of to make sure that we're fulfilling our life's wishes. Now, in this one, I wanted to talk about something that I've noticed, and I'm wondering now if anyone else have noticed. Common courtesy. Yeah, common courtesy. It's like it's being extinct. What is going on? Have I missed something? When did common courtesy become optional? So I say that because I feel like sometimes, whether it be generational differences as far as ages go, but I know growing up, there were common courtesy requirements. How we showed up, how we spoke to our adults. Um, and I don't think that it's quite the same. I hear a lot of talk back. I could tell you right now in my home, talking back to adults, period. I'm not even talking about my parents. Hold on with Elena for a minute. Let me just talk about in general. We could not talk back, but yet I hear kids responding back and forth with answers and parents doing the same. Like this conversation of back and forth. No, but I told you to go. No, but I didn't want to go. But I told you that you should. But no, that's not what I wanted to do. What? What is happening right now? I'm talking about just common courtesy for how somebody shows up for you and how you show up for them. So when we talk about public rudeness, just today, this afternoon, it's 11:20 at night, guys. But I can tell you, today I went to the movies to go see Fantastic Four. Phenomenal movie. I thought it was really good. Well done. Gave me a lot of insight. I didn't really remember the older version of Fantastic Four. But again, not what we're talking about today. But I say this to say we were walking through Disney Springs here at Disney, and there was a little girl who had to be between 3 and 4. And when I tell you, she was looking for any reaction that she can possibly get from her parents for what was a live production of Screaming at the Top of My Lungs. And she kept on screaming and looking around, screaming and looking around. As you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic that's going on, and everyone was just focused on what is happening. And there was nothing really happening. She must not have gotten something that she wanted, and she continued to scream and yell and scream and yell. Now, I questioned this at some point because this must have went on for about 8 to 10 minutes. I kid you not. I don't know how her lungs lasted that long. But then I questioned the parents and this public display that was happening here and why we all had to be a victim or a part of this show. And what part of that is common courtesy as well? I don't know what the little girl needed or what she wanted to do, but I can tell you it wasn't time for you to train your kid here, and it needed to be addressed. They were doing the ignore her and it will pass thing. And I swear, after 5 minutes, when you realize that that's not going to work, I feel like you should not have been impacting everybody the way that you were, because they were not moving and going where new people was. They were sitting in a spot that everyone around us who were sitting and enjoying this ice cream needed to be a part of the show. Now, again, one example that I'm talking about common courtesy and how we need to be mindful of it, the way that we show up, the way that we're impacting others. So, let me just give you, before this display happened, I planned on talking about common courtesy as of 2 days ago. And I didn't write this until today, until now, actually. talking to you about some of the things. But what I have is some bullet points and some things that I want to make sure that I capture as far as common courtesy goes. So with that, um, I was going into the Dollar Tree. This was earlier this week as well. And I held the door open for a family of four who was coming in to the Dollar Tree with me. And I stood back to allow all four to go before me. Not one of them even made eye contact. They legit walked through the door as if I was a doorman. I was like, oh my God, this is what we're doing? This is how life is actually moving for us now? You don't think that somebody standing behind the door that you don't know, holding the door open for a family of four, that one of you should have at least represented your family with a thank you so much? Usually the gentleman takes the door from me at the last minute so that I can come in and he will follow. Didn't happen. There were two gentlemen. One was a teen and the other one was a dad-like figure, and two women. So now, yes, I'm a doorman. Got it. All right. Another one, of course, and it happens often enough, is like when you let somebody in traffic, right? You see them about to merge, lane's going to end, or they need to come over to exit or whatever. And in the past, and I don't know if this is still happening, I know I do it, but it doesn't seem like it's common nature, that you put your hand up. And I know cars are tinted and everybody can't see and all of those things, but it's just my immediate reaction. Somebody let me in, I automatically like give them the like, thanks, dude, but not this one. I just do this. But again, everyone doesn't. They come over like, you see my lane ending, you need to let me in. And yes, your lane is ending, but I don't have to let you in. Again, it's common courtesy, and I would always let somebody in when a lane is ending, and so you should, but I didn't have to. So a nice gesture or something like that is always kind. Anywho, now, listen, I don't need a parade for being kind. I'm not asking for fireworks to shoot off in the sky every time a kind act is given. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, again, acknowledging that something kind was done for you, right? If we go back to the episodes, again, I need to remind you all the time that we have to be mindful that kind things are happening often, because what we will remember is the four people who I held the door open for that did not say thank you. When the reason that I notice them is because other people have never done that to me before, right? Okay. So, with that said, let's just say I don't think kindness is optional. I don't know exactly what's happening. I don't know what we've taught our kids. I don't know what we're doing exactly as adults these days that have changed our mindset on what kindness looks like. But I promise you, it will stop with us. So let's talk about where kindness may have got rebranded as a weakness. That's another form of it, right? When people are so thankful, so gracious, sorry, thank you, sorry, thank you. And I mean to a fault, because at that point, it could really start looking like a weakness or something that is not really okay with you. But I'm just talking about you did something, I say thank you. I do something wrong to you, I say I'm sorry. Basic kindness. Right now, we are moving at such a fast pace that we are not checking in sometimes. That's the bottom line. We're not tuned in to our surroundings. We're on our phones, walking, driving. I saw a lady actually in one of these failed army things walking in the mall on her cell phone, texting away, and she walked right into the fountain. Like flipped into a fountain. Now the fountain isn't floor level. It had a good 8-inch, you know, what do you call this? Wall. Yeah, wall. And she's texting on her cell phone, flipped, tripped herself right into the fountain. What are we doing? We are not paying attention, period. So, because of that, it has changed the way that we see things, the way that we're doing things. And again, some of it is unconscious. This isn't just about rudeness, this is about total disconnect. We are removing ourselves from being part of humanity. And we know for a fact, I had a discussion again today at a baby shower that I went to before I went to the movies. Oh, today was fun. And we were talking about our Gen Z children, teenagers, what they're doing now in this world. And a lot of it, they're doing gaming, a lot of online, even classes and so forth are online. So there's less interaction with people for some of our kids than there were, of course, for us. But then there was, even for them, just a few years ago. So we have people who are getting quite comfortable, and it's not only Gen Zs, I know, but this is what the conversation was about. But we have people who are getting quite comfortable with being alone in their space, because they're not alone. My son plays video games and he's talking to people all day long. But the interaction is very different when you're playing a video game than when you're actually making contact and seeing people live in the streets that we're outside in, right? Okay. So life has changed, and a lot of this is nothing to do with personal thoughts and behaviors. Nobody's going into this saying, how can I be rude? But they're not connected, and therefore it's coming across as rude. We're rushing, we're hustling. It just looks like one more thing that we need to add to the to-do list, even though kindness is not an action that needs to be thoughtfully planned. It should be a reaction that comes naturally. So that's where we kind of lost this, right? Technology, of course, as we said, plays a part in that. And then just emotional exhaustion. We are really doing the most right now. And I say doing the most not lightly. There's a lot of us who are constantly in some type of motion or movement. And again, when we use the B word, busy, then we know that we're in motion and moving, but not being fulfilled, right? And again, if I'm not satisfied, then yes, these actions and these things that we're doing are never going to truly align with what the need is and what we actually want out of them. Trauma can actually shrink our social capacity. And that's another thing that we need to be mindful of. There's a lot of things that have happened. We're taking on a lot. I made a comment today at the chat that we were having that years past, I know I grew up with pedophiles, for example. I'm taking it there. And I had a bus driver one time who showed everything, okay, to at least there was about 4 or 5 girls there, and he just thought that this was pretty darn cool. Now, we didn't say anything, but we didn't know that there may have been other bus drivers, other adults who were doing this. We just thought he was crazy and disgusting. And we kind of left it there. But now, of course, because we know everything at the tips of our fingers, we know what's happening in Chicago, we know what's happening in the Middle East, we know what's happening in Canada. We have so much technology now that's actually dictating all of the things that seems to be happening in our world, where again, back then I didn't know everybody's news. I just knew that this guy was disgusting. And that's how it used to be. But it's not because he was the only one. It's just because we didn't have the information the way that we do now. And we haven't really been taught how to use this information, right? So there's steps that we're actually learning together. But while we're doing that, we have to pay attention. We have to notice our surroundings and the people around us. These days, thoughtfulness is being treated like it's a personality trait and not just a bare minimum requirement, a standard of what we should go by. So that feels a little bit differently. I'm going to do a helper's high pulse check. Let's see what our responsibility is in this act, right? Again, we always like to make sure that we look at ourselves in these actions and do what we can to make a difference for ourselves and for the other people around us, right? So with that, let's do it. I'm going to say if you answer too many of them no, then we have some self-reflecting to do. So the first one, do you always remember to say please and thank you? Very simple. Now, when driving, do you actually put your hands up to signal that you want to cut in or say thank you to somebody who's allowed you to cut in? Do you remember to do that? And have you written a handwritten note or a digital note to somebody within the last 30 days who has actually helped you, done you a favor? And I'll actually even accept a text. Like, thank you so much for what you did for me today. It didn't go unnoticed. I appreciate you. You rock. Now, the last one that I'm going to ask, and this is an interesting one. If you are having a bad day, do you do a good job in hiding it and no one else would ever know that you were having a bad day? That's a good one because I do believe that we think that that could be a case, that I could be having a bad day and nobody would notice. But if you are really around people who are tapped in and tuned into who you are, those who love you, those who really know you, those who are taking the time to truly want to know who you are, I can promise you, you're not going to be able to hide it. So, answer yes or no. Again, multiple questions there. If you've answered no to more than you've answered yes to, just know that there's more that you and I can do to make sure that we're doing our part on being kind. So there's this story, and in the leadership class that I teach, we talk about it. It's called Ben Duffy. And Ben Duffy was a gentleman. He was a guy like you and I who, I'm not a guy, but you know what I mean, a person, a real person. And in the 1960s. And he was going in for what looked like a big job interview for him. And instead of prepping for the interview and sticking to what is a script, he asked himself one simple question. If they were me, what would you want to know to make sure that I was the most qualified? Nowadays, as we continue to teach this culture in my current role at work, we say you have to Ben Duffy it. You have to think about putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. What would they want to know? You're probably wondering. You probably are thinking. You probably are asking. This is an important step, and we cannot bypass this. You need to be mindful of other people's thoughts and what they may need to know to feel good about something that has to happen anyway. And where's a better place for Ben to have tried this out than on an interview? There's a lot of questions that we don't answer on interviews. And it's not because we're not qualified, and it's not because we're not capable of doing this job. Obviously, we're here because we're capable. But on an interview, there are certain things that are asked of you, and then you give that response. But in between those layers, there are certain things that people would wish they have known, and you would want them to know if you really do want this job, right? So that's what Ben was really great at. He really did put himself in that position to say, if you were me and I had the opportunity to hire me, here's what I would want to know and why. That question changed the energy. It allowed the person who was giving the interview to be seen, to let them know that you thought about me. That one question showed intentional empathy. It told the person, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to understand you. I'm here to make sure that I have all of the qualifications that we will need to move forward successfully once I get this job. But here's the fun fact. Here's where most of us get stuck. Again, mindful thinking has to happen when you're doing kind things or when you're receiving kind praises. I'm going to keep on saying that, but I want you to understand that you're not always going to remember good things that people are doing for you, and they're not always going to remember the good things that you did for them. It's just, again, human nature. It's how we work. But most of us are doing kind things. That's the truth. No one is purposefully, and I say no one lightly because I get that there may be a core handful of people who just have bad thoughts and bad intent, but that's not who we're talking about here, Helper's High. We're talking about good people doing kind gestures, but also forgetting how important it is to say it out loud. So that's you and I. And I'll give you a perfect example of what that could look like so that you can relate. Let's just say I cooked dinner for us, right, babe? And I know that you don't like broccoli. Now I know. The first time that I made broccoli, I didn't know that. He ate all of the steak and the potatoes, left the broccoli there to die. But the next time I cooked steak with potatoes, I made it with green beans because I realized that he did not enjoy broccoli just because he left it there. Not because he said anything bad about it, not because we had a conversation. It's just something that I observed. So I changed the broccoli to green beans and it went over much better. Here's what I mean by calling it out when you're doing kind thoughts. Because, yes, I observed that he didn't eat broccoli. We did not have a conversation, but I was mindful enough to know the next time I won't make broccoli. I would try to make something else to see if it was a better take on it, right? Without saying that, I knew that what I did was thoughtful. I saw you weren't really feeling the broccoli, babe. So I went ahead and made green beans this time. I hope you enjoy them. That small sentence, I noticed, I saw you, I changed because I wanted to please you, is what I'm actually saying. Changes the entire dynamic of what just happened. If you call it out, it's going to change how that person feels about it. They're going to feel seen. They're going to feel noticed. It says your taste, your experience, your preference mattered to me. I saw you. I heard you. I understood. So I adjusted, right? That's emotional generosity. That's what you're looking for, not only in our best relationships, but also in friendships, partnerships, or soon to be friendships and partnerships. That's kindness. That tells me that you're thoughtful and you're rooted in purpose. However, guys, let's talk about this for a second. Because I said that, and then it made me think for a second here. There is a shadow side of courtesy. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced. I'll give you another example of what this looks like. So I'm going to be truthfully honest. When we say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, that is definitely a part of a culture. And that's the culture that you want to build at home, at work, in the places where you are most often. You want to have a culture that feels good, that makes people feel emotionally supported, right? But have you ever been a witness to everyone just passing around gratitude like it's a baton at a relay race? You're amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. Oh my God, no, you're double amazing. Oh, bleh. So now I'm sitting here wondering, is this true? Is this true generosity? Is this really a thoughtful act? Or are you just playing hot potato with compliments just to get reaction? Gratitude is good. And again, usually it's meant with the best of intent, right? Recognition is important. It's truly important for people to hear it, for people to see it, for people to feel appreciated, regardless of where they are positioned in your life. If you're interacting with people and kindness and thoughtfulness is happening, then recognition should be given and praises should be shared. But authenticity matters too. Don't just give people a bouquet of compliments. Tell them what's in the vase. Make sure they know. Keep it real. Genuine helping, genuine gratefulness, genuine thoughtfulness, genuine empathy, right? Ben Duffy was amazing because he was empathetic, thoughtfully, mindfully saying, what would you want to know? Sometimes the culture that we're in does lean towards maintaining what we call surface level positivity, which does come at the expense of authenticity. That's not the same. That can actually make people feel unseen, frustrated, because the words don't really match the reality. You're saying kind words, but then somehow I'm getting screwed a different way. It doesn't line up what you're saying and what the actual experience is. So, as I mentioned, Helpers High family, we're not going to be able to control everyone. That's not our intent. That's not what we're here to do. But we are here to be mindful in our own opportunities, to be able to say, this is what I am in control over. right? And this is how I'm going to lead going forward. These relationships that we have, whether it be with other people or with ourselves, there are always going to be things that we have to do differently in order for us to show up for ourselves, in order for other people to show up for us. And I hope that you agree. There's no way to continue to point blame at other people when you know yourself with our helpers high pulse checks that you have opportunity to continue to grow and be reminded yourself of the things that you are capable of changing, and other people will shift around you, and sometimes they will have to break off completely. As you continue to grow, you have to know that everyone cannot come with you. And again, we can probably have a whole nother segment about this, and I'm sure that we will. But yes, as we grow, the people who brought us to this point may no longer be designed to move forward. Let's do the list of things that we can actually control, things that we authentically and intentionally have power for ourselves to look differently, to play out differently for ourselves and others. Okay? Saying thank you. If you don't always say thank you when somebody does kind acts for you, start today. It's really this simple. Smile. Oh my goodness. It's so awesome to see somebody and smile. Whether you know them or don't know them, it's just a boost of energy and that helper's high energy too. So it's going to give you dopamine and oxytocin and things that's going to make us just excited about life. Smiling, period. Acknowledge me. You see me, I see you, smile. Okay? All right. Eye contact. So I'm not going to smile at people just randomly. I'm going to have to make eye contact too. There are so many of us who actually are avoiding eye contact. We're wearing sunglasses outside because I don't want you to see me seeing you. In the hallways, in our businesses, works, gyms, so forth, we're on our cell phone. We're purposefully trying to let you know that I did not notice you. Wow, that's wild. Okay. But every time you don't have on these sunglasses or you're not looking at your phone, make eye contact. Don't look down at the floor. Don't look up at the ceiling. Don't look wall to wall. Look into the person who is passing you by. And if eye contact is made, now the next one that we can do. Acknowledge, wave, say hi out loud, head nod, do something to say, I see you. Send an appreciation text. Another one is tag the person in who helped you with an idea. So if you went home, I know, babe, we had a conversation with your brother this weekend, right? And we helped him with something. And it worked out for him. Just say thank you. That's it. He should be reaching out to say what you said worked, thanking his brother for the advice. That's it. And he did. But that's what you would want to do. Always make sure that you're adding value. When you walk away from a conversation, you want to know that you left them better, not bitter. You should be able to comfortably ask, am I being the kind of person that I want to work with, that I want to drive near, that I want to sit with in the break room and eat lunch with? Have I created a space where people feel comfortable and confident to be with me in that way? The vibe that we bring to the world is our reputation. It should not be taken lightly. Okay, so let's focus on bringing the joy back. Little things that we can do differently in showing up, right? Let's talk about holding the door open without resentment. Let's talk about telling the barista that you like their energy. How about that? You get your coffee every day. Tell them that you notice that they too drink coffee. Thank a person who gave you a heads up about something, that you were going to need to know, that it was like, oh, good looking out. Let's celebrate people even if they forgot about us. Let's celebrate them because they deserve to be celebrated. I'll share that about a week or two ago, somebody DM'd me on Helpers High and gave me a shout out that said, I just want to thank you for having conversations about something I never really wanted to talk about. And it made me feel seen. That's what Helpers High is all about, guys. That's what we're talking about. And I promised you, if there was even one of you out there that was getting something from this podcast, I was going to continue. So I appreciate that it's more than one of you. And I appreciate when somebody's reaching out to let me know that they do listen to the podcast and they really enjoy what they're hearing. Helpers High changed how I see myself. It made me feel valued and made me know that there was a place where I could show up for other people in a broader sense than what I was already doing. So, again, greatly appreciated for that. And kindness ripples. When you are kind, when other people are kind to you, it just oozes out and trickles down into other people and makes people all around us feel good. One of the memes that I saw online months ago, or maybe even years ago, said, people who feel appreciated will always do more. And that's the truth. So think of somebody in your life that's doing good things. Think about if they felt appreciated, how great they will be, how great they will be for themselves and others, and how great they'll even be for you. So we know that. In our favorite bar, we may tip a little bit more because we know that we want our bar attendant, our server, whoever this is that's keeping those drinks coming, to feel appreciated. Because what happens in that case? The energy changes, right? The drinks taste better, right? So continue to show up for people. Those little acts of kindness are going to carry forward. And even if not with you, it's going to make somebody else's day better, which will make other people's day better. It's that trickle down effect, guys. That's what we're looking for. Now, other people's reaction or lack of them, let me say it both ways, cannot be allowed to change who we are. Who we show up as needs to be authentically our true selves. So other people doing the most cannot take us out of our purpose. Easier said than done, because sometimes people come at us sideways. And with that, human nature can set in and it brings you down, it steals your joy. But it alone cannot do that. It is a choice that you are making. So stop blaming other people when you decide to check out, when you decide to get mad over their sideways behavior. It is your choice to check out. You should only be mad at yourself. Sorry, but not sorry. We never really know what someone else is going through. We also have to be mindful of that. We just can't say the words "we're kind" and not again put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. There are things happening that are beyond other people's control sometimes. They could be cutting you off on the road because they're trying to get to the hospital to see a loved one. They could have just gotten the worst news. They could have just gotten the best news. Things are happening not only to us, but to other people. So I know it seems like obstruction. I know it seems like people, again, not caring, but sometimes there is real reasoning for why their acts don't seem like something that we would have chose. But we don't know what those circumstances are. We don't know what's making them cut through traffic like a bullet. We have no idea. So let's not assume the worst. Let's do what's within our purpose. Move aside and let them pass you. While other things going on in your life is not an excuse, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that it is a reminder that we can't live our lives based on who claps for us, who thanks us, who acknowledges us, who appreciates us, who loves us, who was grateful, who was kind, who was compassionate, who did what we would have done for them. Again, none of those things can change us showing up for who we are. That's what kindness is. If you're truly kind, regardless of somebody else's behavior, you have a purpose that you're going to serve every time. We are responsible for our own energy. What we put out there is what we get back. And again, it's not always going to be from the same people that we're giving that energy to. Some people are energy drainers and some people are energy givers. I do want to say for sure, kindness isn't old school, okay? It's not something that we used to do and say bye-bye to it because that's just the way it is. Stop saying that's just the way it is, by the way. Stop saying it. It's not the way it is. It's the way that we're choosing it to be. If you don't like it, you either do something about it or you stew. Courtesy is a daily decision to see people, not step over them. Gratitude isn't extra, it's essential. So I'm going to give us Helpers High family some homework. You guys ready? It's things that we have to start doing. It's our joy challenge, is what I'm going to call it. Be someone's reason to believe courtesy isn't dead. I want you today to try one above and beyond thank you. Tell somebody how grateful you are for the things that they are doing or have done for you. It can be mom, it can be your teacher, it can be your friend from years ago, it can be somebody that you met today, a brand new stranger. Tell them and go over the top with it. Make them feel really warm and fuzzy inside. So, again, a little bit of a performance, but with good intent. If we want to bring common courtesy back, guys, it's going to start with us. We are responsible for the things that we can do differently, even when other folks are not showing up the way that we believe that they should. We're going to need to keep showing up, whether it is noticeable or privately done, anonymous. We still need to, again, do what we can do. And that's not just good manners, that's emotional leadership. That's the kind of world that we want to live in. That's the kind of people that we want to be around. People who are feeling, giving, doing good. And remember this, guys, we were never meant to be everyone's favorite flavor. Remember, mint chocolate chip is not for everyone. But the flavor that we bring should feel good to the people that we're feeding. Joy is contagious. Oh my God, joy is contagious. Joy is contagious. Joy. I got joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Okay. Joy. All right. It's almost midnight. I'm about to lose it, guys. But joy is contagious. When we light up somebody else's world, suddenly our world feels a little bit brighter too. Let's stop waiting for people to deserve kindness. Let's just do it because we're capable and we're here to deliver that. Let's give freely without question. Let's stop saving good energy for only those who notice. All right? There are some of, not you, but people we know that are only there to do good things when they believe other people are watching. Let's bring joy back, not in big, grand gestures, just in the way that we continue to show up for one another. That's what Helpers High is about. Feel good chemicals running all through our body because we're doing the right thing for the right people at the right time, right moment, God's given purpose. I love you. Together, we make magic. Have a good one.